all know the story of David and Goliath. I mean, it's the ultimate underdog tale, right? But what if the story doesn't actually end when the giant falls? What if the greatest victory isn't the one on the battlefield, but the one a leader has to win inside themselves? Let's get into the hidden price of victory. So this is the real question at the heart of the story. Because after all the cheering stopped, David's incredible act didn't end the conflict. Not at all. In fact, it unleashed a new, much more dangerous enemy, one that was already inside the king's own court. Okay, so let's set the scene. You've got two armies, the Philistines and the Israelites, just staring each other down. The whole battle has ground to a halt, and it's because the Philistines have an ace up their sleeve, this champion warrior named Goliath. And when we say giant, we really mean it. The ancient texts describe this guy as being nearly 3 meters tall. That's almost 10 feet. He was basically a walking mountain of a man, and he stepped out every single day just to mock the Israelite army. His challenge was pretty simple. Winner, take all. One duel to decide the whole war. But it wasn't just a threat. He was insulting their army, their king, and their god, totally confident that no one would dare answer him. And the contrast here is just, wow. On one side, you have the army of Israel completely paralyzed by fear. Their own king, Saul, is silent, not offering any leadership. And on the other side, you've got Goliath, just brimming with arrogance, openly defying their god. And right into this stalemate walks our hero. But here's the thing. He's not a soldier. He's not some general. He's a young shepherd boy named David, who is literally just supposed to be delivering some food to his older brothers on the front lines. Now, David's motivation is absolutely key. When he hears what Goliath is yelling, he isn't afraid, he's furious. He cannot believe this guy is getting away with insulting the army of the living God. So his fight, you see, is driven by faith, not some desire for glory. The mismatch in gear is just staggering. Goliath is decked out in over 57 kilograms of bronze armor and carrying a spear that weighs 7 kilos all on its own. And David? Well, King Saul tries to give him his royal armor, but it's way too big. So David just goes with what he knows: a staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones. So the stage is set. The giant, covered head to toe in bronze, is laughing at this young boy walking towards him, and the entire fate of 2 nations is hanging on this single, unbelievable fight. But David isn't fazed one bit, and his response just lays it all out on the table. He's not seeing this as a battle of man versus man. For him, it's his God versus Goliath's arrogance. He's basically saying, hey, you may have all the fancy weapons, but I've got the ultimate power on my side. And then the moment comes. This isn't some long, drawn-out battle. David doesn't even need the other 4 stones he brought. It just takes 1. With his simple shepherd sling, he launches the stone. And get this, sources suggest a rock about the size of a baseball, flying with incredible force and precision. And it finds the one single unprotected spot, hitting Goliath right on the forehead. And just like that, the unbeatable champion collapses. The battle is over in an instant. David runs forward, uses Goliath's own sword to finish the job, and the Philistine army, they just panic and run. An impossible victory. So, this should be the happy ending, right? Hero gets celebrated, the kingdom is saved. But this is where the story actually begins. Because as the army returns home, the celebration itself plants the seeds of a new, and honestly, a far more dangerous conflict. This is the song the women are singing to welcome back the heroes. And it's supposed to be a celebration, a song of praise. But listen really closely to the words. It's a comparison. And for King Saul, it's a devastating public insult. The numbers really put it into perspective, don't they? The king gets credit for thousands, but the new hero, David, he gets credit for 10,000s. In that moment, Saul doesn't hear a victory song. He hears the sound of his own importance fading away as the people's love shifts to someone else. And that one song changes everything. Saul's feeling of victory just curdles into resentment. The hero who saved his kingdom has now, in his mind, become the single greatest threat to his throne. And this jealousy takes root with terrifying speed. I mean, this is not a slow burn. The day he hears the song, he is furious. The very next day, while David is just playing the harp to soothe him, Saul hurls a spear at him, twice. And from that point on, his mission is clear. He has to eliminate David. Saul's plots just get more and more elaborate. You see, he can't just kill David outright. The guy's a public hero now. So he sets a trap. He offers David his daughter's hand in marriage, but the dowry is an impossible task. Bring back proof of killing 100 Philistine warriors. Of course, Saul's real hope is that David will be killed trying. But the plan backfires spectacularly. David doesn't just meet the price, he doubles it, making him an even bigger hero and making Saul even more afraid. And this whole thing reveals the tragic lesson of the story. Saul, with David's help, defeated the external enemy, Goliath, but he was ultimately destroyed by the enemy within himself, his own jealousy and insecurity. This really was the core of the tragedy. Saul was so blinded by envy that he saw his greatest asset, David, as his greatest rival. He spent the rest of his life, all his energy, and his kingdom's resources hunting the very man who had saved them all. Instead of building a stronger nation together, Saul's jealousy just brought ruin upon himself and his entire family. Which, leaves us with this final thought. Facing the giant out on the battlefield, that's the easy part to celebrate. It's the visible threat. But maybe the real test of leadership, the one that truly defines a person's legacy, is that internal battle against envy, insecurity, and the fear of being overshadowed.